Welcome to the I Create Daily podcast. I'm Leora Alderson.
And I'm Devani Alderson. We are your co-hosts on this journey of creativity and productivity.
I Create Daily is for artists in every genre of creating, from musicians to writers, crafters to inventors, bloggers to entrepreneurs. I Create Daily is a movement for creators serious about your art.
If you're into creating anything, this podcast is definitely for you. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. Hello and welcome to the I Create Daily podcast. I'm Devani.
And I'm Leora, and you have a cold.
And I have a cold. And today we are talking about a recent challenge we did in our I Create Daily for Creators Facebook group. And we launched it on January 1st, and it was called the iArtDaily 30-Day Art Challenge. And the concept was we would email for 30 days a prompt every single day. And the prompt would be around a quote or an idea or a song or some abstract concept. And then people would... some tangible concepts. But a lot of it was more allowing an artist to sit with a thought or a music or something and see what they were inspired to create from that prompt. And it was a big success. Mm-hmm. We've been really inspired throughout the entire month of January of people just sharing all sorts of different types of arts and all sorts of different interpretations of the same concept. So I think that was the most impactful thing that we saw, people taking a specific quote and making it their own and just seeing all the different ways people interpret the same thing. And we have some awesome testimonials to share from it, but it's also helped us realize that a big part of the I Create Daily movement and brand is around really helping people do what they want to do, which is to create more. And how we help do that is hosting different challenges throughout the year that help you create what you want to create so that you can get on a roll. And it was really cool seeing many people get re-inspired to be creative, or they were facing a creative block when they started, and the last 30 days helped them pick back up the habit of creating. So
and in fact, not just so it's like the other part of it, we created the challenge, but we also created art journals. Mm-hmm. So we have published 4 intuitive art journals, and they also feature the same kind of conceptual prompts that we use in this iArtDaily 30-Day Intuitive Art Challenge. And so basically we have journals by the same name. We have 4 of them published, and it was in part inspired by, this challenge was actually the journals inspired us to create the challenge. And that really ended up being, it was just so gratifying to see that our concept of using prompts that were a little different than the traditional specific draw a tree or draw a flower, technical art, that it was more conceptual. It was so wonderful to see how one prompt could lead to so many different kinds of creations.
And we call it intuitive art because it's really about taking a concept and making it your own from the inside out, as opposed to being told what to make, which I think that was a really successful idea.
Yes, so much so, because when you're told what to make, basically it is an idea from the outside in, and when it
can be helpful to learn.
Yes. Absolutely.
For learning technique. But our goal was really to kickstart creativity.
Yeah, well, and the habit of daily creating. Yeah. So back to the point of daily creativity, if it is that you're a creator, and the prompts in this first challenge, it was an iArtDaily challenge. However, it was for all genres of creators, because that's the variety that ended up applying to participate. So we had writers, photographers, and poets, and all mediums of visual arts as well, as crafters who participated in this. And what was wonderful about this, it was just like, who knew? It didn't even occur to us all the potential intersecting things that would occur and the inspiration that would occur, so that people who started as poet, for instance, were so inspired by the visual arts that she is now doing visual arts, or not just her, not just one poet, but others who might have been crafters were inspired to go back to their canvases. One lady said that, in fact, I just wrote it this morning. I'll just go ahead and read her thing. I think this, yeah. A.L. Jalving said, I did take out some pastels that I had not touched in years and played a bit. I am out of practice though it felt good to have them back in my hands. So really exciting to see people who are getting back into art, even after having not been connected to it for many years, just by virtue of being inspired and supported and encouraged by others through this challenge. And fortunately, like we had people also say on day 30, in fact, as we're recording this, is actually day 30 of our first iArtDaily Intuitive Art Challenge for the iCreate Daily brand. So it's January 30th, 2019 at the time we're recording this. And people are saying, oh, I can't believe that, it's already been 30 days and I don't want it to stop, which is the best thing. Yeah. We don't want it to stop either. We want you to keep on creating, which is exactly the whole point of the challenge in the first place. It is that, some say that it takes about 21 days to create a new habit. Some say 3 days. Who knows? It's different for each person. What we know is that repetition creates consistency creates the positive habit.
And if you're tuning in and you were part of this experience, which has been so successful, and it was really, the experience was made by you guys participating, and if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, where do I go now? What do I do now? Well, our group, it started just for people to come in and share their daily creativity, so you don't have to stop at all. Mm-hmm. We still publish our daily emails. You can always pick a quote from that daily email and from that content and still be creative. Like, this isn't just a 30-day challenge and now it's done and gone and we're gone. It's a 30-day challenge, but it's a community of artists, and you're welcome to keep it going, really. I mean, we're going to have official challenges throughout the year and this hosted in the group, but you are more than welcome to keep the role that you have, because this first 30 days was just a launch pad.
Yeah, and there were so many, we were so inspired by the incredible array. So there were people who are at the very beginning of their creative journey, and there are people who've been doing it for years, and everything in between. So if you're considering whether to join something like this and you've never painted or never drawn or never sketched or never written, as far as like work that you publish to others, don't let that stop you. Let that encourage you, in fact, to get started and to keep on going. Because as Jeff Goins said, and who is an author whom we interviewed early on in the iCreate Daily podcast, which we'll link to this session as well, he said that you're a writer if you write. If you're a write and you say you write, then basically you're a writer. What form that writing takes may be different, whether it's a writer of a blog or a ghostwriter or a freelance writer or an author. That depends on you and where you want to take your writing. And same thing with art. And there's so many opportunities today for creatives to get their work out into the world, and in particular to hone in on their specific area of interest should they already have one.
And also, one thing, just to interject a little bit, there are many groups that are very specific to different art forms. So you'll have lots of painting groups. You'll have like rock painting groups, writer groups, you'll have different groups for specific artistic or creative genres. But the reason we have it all sort of lumped together right now is because there's so much inspiration that comes from viewing things differently, mm-hmm. and whether that different is from somebody else sparking an idea because their craft, the craft that they did, the quilt they made inspired you to write a poem. And we had so much of that going on because we had the mesh of all these diverse artists. They were just inspiring each other, even if one was a poet and the other was a painter.
Yeah,
or a photographer.
The popular thing about the popular knowledge about how Steve Jobs had the inspiration to create Apple computers because of having attended a calligraphy class in college.
And he wasn't happy with the 3 fonts available.
Right. Well, similarly, there are people who, just by virtue of seeing other people's brand and style and whatever creativity, it sparks ideas that you can apply to your own medium as well. The other thing is we also had people participate who didn't use any of our prompts, who basically had their own ideas, and they, worked with those ideas instead. And occasionally they would try and see that it fit in with the prompt and find a way to fit it in. But it doesn't matter. Our goal is to help you get into the rhythm of doing what you want to do, and that is to do your work daily.
And some people just want the creative community. They didn't need the ideas. They have a million of their own, and we so encourage that. If you already have a million of your own ideas, you don't need to be distracted with other people's ideas.
Yes.
But sometimes you want the community and the support and a place to share your work and get feedback or just encouragement. Mm-hmm. And so even if you're not officially doing one of our challenges, you can still be a part of a creative community.
Yeah. And something that you said reminded me that I think it was just yesterday, one of our participants, Brandy Schwartz, posted a photo of a fire and she's in the group, and she says, I see, do you see the lady in the fire? And that elicited a long conversation of a lot of different people chiming in on what they saw, and many of them saw different things, and some of them actually went in and drew a sketch of the people that they saw in the flame, and then others, and then the originator of the photo, Brandy, said, "Wow, I didn't even see that one," and it's so wonderful, the view that your eye took on, on that particular image, and we all see different things. And so that's the benefit. Another benefit in the group is just expanding our horizons of perception and creativity. But the other side of that is that we had one person who shared that, I love the quotes and prompts, but I find that I have a hard time knowing what to draw as a result of them. And so let's see, for instance, this particular prompt was about the transcendence of nature, just roughly paraphrased. And so I said, well, here's one thing you could do, is that when you read something like this, it seems conceptual and perhaps too abstract for you, then pick out a word, see what word leaps out at you. So if it's nature, for instance, and then, okay, so nature, you can do something. And when you think about nature, what image leaps to your mind first? Is it a flower? Is it a tree? Is it the ocean? Is it a sunset? And then do that. So if you are engaged and you're still then, it's something you're drawing that came from within you first. It's sort of like the psychological test where, the psychologist would say something like, give you a string of words. They would say a word, and then they would ask you to say a word immediately without stopping to think your association. I forget, I'm sure there's a specific name to it, I don't remember right now, but it's like the concept of what associations do you have when you hear certain words. And that's coming from, again, within your own consciousness, and you're beginning to, it's also very similar to Julia Cameron's, it's what's the term that she used, her something writing, free writing, I forget. Do you know
we talk about it all the time. Her morning pages,
where you just sit there and you just start to free flow, brain dump everything that's in your mind, and
sometimes it's just like a grocery list, and sometimes it's like a deep thought, or sometimes you're just literally just like, I did this stuff today.
Whatever comes out unedited, and so it's like you're basically just free flowing and letting your mind pick up and take over the first thing that comes to mind. And if the first thing that comes to mind is not something let's say that you hear the term nature and the idea of drawing a tree is not appealing to you, then just go to the next word. Okay, nature, then what else comes up? Okay, ocean, yes, I want to draw an ocean, and I want to draw a sunset.
And some people might take that, and what's so cool about having sort of all the different mediums, and one is some person might draw a tree, somebody else might take a piece of a piece of driftwood and use that as their art, because that inspired them to do that. I know one person painted an elephant on this really long piece of bark that she found on her walk, and she said, I saw an elephant trunk, and that was her canvas, that tree trunk, which was brilliant and really cool. So sometimes it's literally taking the element you're thinking about and creating something out of it.
Right. So right now, if we don't know for sure when we're going to host our next iArtDaily Intuitive Art Challenge, we're definitely going to do it this year, and it may be June, but we won't know for sure until we get a little further along in the year based on people's interest. However, we do have a landing page where you can go and sign up to be notified for when it is that we have the next challenge. Meanwhile, what it is we're doing in February is. You want
to? In February. Were you going to read any of those?
Oh yeah. Well, I'll just read it. Okay, so what people
drag it out a little bit.
Yeah, what people got from this. Let's take some of the shorter ones. Just one lady said, "Thank you for your input and thank you for this opportunity. It has been a great connection for me." Another person said, "I'm growing since I'm sharing art and doing more art daily." Another person said, 30 days already. My goodness, this has been such a huge gift. Thank you, thank you. Another person, sorry, I'm not saying people's names. I should have started that, but that's okay. "I'm proud of my consistent journaling and daily creative efforts." Another person says, "Everything starts with a first step. This challenge is such a step for me. I'm growing since I'm sharing art and doing more art daily." Another person says, "Thank you, everybody in this community. I also love sharing my work with you all and love seeing what you have. Once again, I'm grateful for this group." And so anyway, this is just a few of a handful of many things that people have shared about how it's benefit them, which is very gratifying for us because we weren't sure, if people would like the thing that we like about the conceptual challenge as well as...
Especially since we hadn't really seen a whole lot of that. We had done a lot of research on the internet. Where else do you do research? We had done a lot of research of different prompts trying to figure out and differentiate our iArtDaily journals from other journals, and so this was a really good testing ground of how it would work, so that when you do use the journals, and we actually have 4 volumes of the iArtDaily journal, and each of them with a different set of 30-day quotes, so it's not like you're getting 4 volumes and they're all the same quotes. Each volume has a different set of art quotes, art-related quotes. And so
I'll write down so I don't forget. Sorry, go ahead.
And so this challenge, we could create a 5th journal, technically, because we created new ones that weren't in any of the 4. So really, it was just a fun experiment that we weren't sure how it would work, and it turned out really well, which is a great metaphor for creativity in general, because sometimes it's that random thought or idea you have that you're really just totally unsure about and comes from mostly left field that ends up being the thing.
Yeah, and sorry, I was just getting excited because I was remembering that one of the concepts...
While you talk, I'm going to get the journals.
Okay, sure.
So
that's a great idea. One of the things about the current iArtDaily journals, they're 30 days of creating, as Devani said, with prompts. And let's say that if you started one, and as she said, all 4 of them have different quotes, but if let's say you got through all 4 and we hadn't created another one yet and you wanted to start over, it would be interesting to go ahead and go through that one again, like start at the beginning again and see what kind of different things you create from the same conceptual prompts. So that's fun. Another fun thing is and if so any of you know this, if you're already working in an art journal or sketchpad, how cool it is to start off your art on page 1 and then go through to the full end of the sequence, which in this case is for us is 30 days, and then to go back at the beginning and thumb through and see how your work has evolved, whether it's your writing or your sketching or your watercolor, your paint, your pens, whatever it may be, and even the variety of things. Like you may be, like many people may be like ready to retire or already retired and getting back into art, not sure which medium they want to spend more time in. And so this is another great way to discover that, is try a different medium each day and then keep rotating through those until you discover which one or ones you really are enjoying most and want to dive deeper into. All right, good, you got them. I'm glad you thought of that.
And so we have 4 of them, so I'm just going to show you. If you're watching the video version of this, we'll also put photos of them in the show notes, but these are the first 2 volumes. I should probably just do one at a time. This is the pink watercolor version. And here's the blue, cosmic blue, or something like that.
Oh, and just so go ahead and come through that one a little bit.
The magenta sunrise. We love this color. Well, we love all of them. So
yeah.
And again, so basically what happens, I'll open the page. I'll show them this one and open the page. And then here is the golden volume 4. And again, they all have different quotes. But what we did was we put so the front of the page is blank, completely blank, in case you already have ideas or you just want to draw and not look at the quote. But you flip the page, and on the back is the date and the quote. So
which ends up being the prompt for the day. And there are two ways to use that. One is you start drawing first, and then see if there is any intuitive connection between what you created and the quote prompt itself. Kind of similar to how we've all done this probably at some point, where we thumb through a book that we value, whether it's a spiritual book or a personal development book or a Bible, whatever, and then we open it and read the passage where we landed, and then we find the meaning to us in that day at that time from that passage. And so it's a similar thing to that, where you might create first and then take a peek and look and see, or look at the prompt and see if there's any connection. And then the other way is to look at the prompt first. If you're not sure, if you look at the blank page and nothing comes to mind immediately, then you turn the page, check out the prompt, and then see what comes to mind and start creating. The other thing is, by having it blank on the backside, you still have room to continue sketching, creating, drawing, whatever, and or hopefully also to do some writing. It's not lined just because some people may want to not do writing and they want to continue drawing, or just leave it blank on the back.
But we'll definitely be coming out with writing journals as opposed to art journals.
And the other cool feature is they're perforated pages, so it makes it easy to remove should you want to remove them and send them as a gift to somebody, or frame it and put it on your wall and that sort of thing. Because I always think it's like, I see some of the most wonderful work and I think, my gosh, but it's going to be in the journal. I would like to put that on my wall. So we made it perforated so it would be easier for you to do, to remove it from the journal and keep it, share it, whatever, frame it.
Yeah, and also it's mixed media paper, but it's smooth mixed media paper, and we've been doing a lot of research on the different types of paper, and it works. I've currently tried it with ink, pencil, colored pencils, and normal black lead pencils, and I've used acrylic paint and oil pastels, and I also did oil pastels and then used water over the oil pastels to blend the colors and stuff, and it's held up great. We weren't sure, because we're not visual artists ourselves, or I'm just a dabbling visual artist, we weren't 100% sure which was the best paper, but we did a test, and we can put those photos in. We'll put those photos in our show notes, but we just wanted to let you know it is smooth, but it is mixed media, and it does hold.
Yeah. So anyway, please visit the landing page. Devon, do we have the address already? The meta link? Is it going to be right now?
Just go to iCreateDaily.com/store, and you'll see all of our journals, and it'll be pretty obvious which the art journals are.
No, sorry, I meant for the art to opt in for the art challenge.
Oh yeah, we have that too. I don't have the URL in my head right now, but actually, if you go to the website, we'll just have the link in the show notes.
Actually, it'll probably be iArtDaily.com. We'll redirect that. So go to iArtDaily.com. And we will direct that link to whatever landing page gives you a chance to sign up, so that you can be put on the waiting list to be notified of future challenges. Okay, so the one that we're doing in February, oops, just froze up, there we go. The one we're doing in February is an iArtDaily challenge. So it's going to be 30 days, even though February is only 28. So I guess basically
we're doing February 1st to March
2nd. And it's numbers, right?
Yeah. Guys, I have a cold and it's numbers.
It's a 28-day month, and so I'll go to March 2nd. And again, that's right now as we're recording this, it's in 2019. And this is for, we have an iHeartDaily brand that's basically new and just budding.
It's iHeartDaily.com.
Yeah, and what we're doing with that is, there's an iHeartDaily Facebook page as well, but not a group. You can chat about. If you want to participate, you can go and post what you post on the iHeartDaily page. And you're also welcome to join our I Create Daily Facebook group and share it there. But what we'll be asking for are positive stories. So anything to do with compassion, kindness, love, positivity, good news, goodwill stories.
Random acts of kindness, or not just random acts of kindness either, but purposeful and conscious acts of kindness. I mean, the random is always cool, but we really want to instill just doing kindness in general.
Yeah,
not
definitely.
Just randomly thinking of it, but consciously doing it. And so we're going to be posting the prompts on that on the it's facebook.com/iHeartDaily. So we'll be posting the prompt there, and we'll have a link to sign up for the email notifications, because you know how Facebook works. You don't always get the notifications.
Right, and you can get that at iArtDaily.com. That you can find
kindness-challenge.
Yeah, so please join us for that. And also at the end of that, for those whose stories we actually publish on the iHeartDaily website, you can get a free journal of your choice published by iCreateDaily.com. And we have 9 as of now. We have 4 90-day goals journals, we have 4 iArtDaily journals, and we have 1 gratitude journal. So you'll get one of your free of your choice. You just have to pay shipping if we end up publishing any of your goodwill, good news, love, kindness stories on the iHeartDaily website.
Yeah, and you can submit a written account of your thing, or a written/video, or however format that you want to share your random. We accept all the submissions.
And in case it's not clear, it's like one of the things that we're passionate about is besides creating and creativity is supporting those who are creators. So those 2 things: supporting people who are creators, supporting people in general. But our niche of interest is creativity, creating content. For us, we're primarily writers right now. So that, and also spreading good news and goodwill and positivity in the world, because the world needs more of that.
Yep, as it says on our header, iHeartDaily, because where's our header? Because the world needs more heart.
Yeah, there you go.
Alrighty, guys, and I think that is a wrap for today's coffee break.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye, guys.
Thanks so much for joining us for the I Create Daily podcast. Please let us know what creatives you would like us to interview and what topics you would be interested in hearing more about.
And if you enjoyed this show, please leave a review on iTunes. We value your feedback. We read all the reviews, and it just helps us get the word out on the I Create Daily podcast. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.